Welcome back to Beneficial Life. Today I want to be sharing with you my creations last night. This is basically Doraemon made using geometry nodes in Blender. So this is more like a modeling Boolean practice. I did this in around 1 hour last night. And I will show you the whole process. Actually, no, the whole breakdown. So yeah, this is not 100% perfect, but it's kind of like Doraemon without the eyeballs and without the mouth. But I think the whole thing can be created using Boolean. So everything is a single, just a stick, like a single nodes, geometry nodes. And I use mirror here. So you can see it's there's kind of like a little cheat there just to get the more like elliptical shapes. And also we don't have mirror inside geometry nodes yet, so we need mirror nodes at some point. And let's see, okay, let's see, in 3D it's looking like this. Okay, it has all the part except for the tail. I haven't made the tail. If you maybe you can try making something like that. And I also don't like the feet so much. The arm seems to be okay. So Doraemon, by the way, it's a very famous character in Japan, famous anime character from manga also, and yeah, one of the most beloved characters besides Pikachu, Astro Boy, Totoro, and all those. Doraemon is, I think, one of the most famous one by Fujiko Fujio. Definitely you need to read the manga and anime, and also the latest maybe 3D anime. Yeah, anyway, so this character is supposed to be a cat without ears, because I think his ears was bitten by mouse, so he is afraid of mouse. Anyway, so let's dig inside this. So your nodes will grow over time. This is like super simple. I will show you. Okay, the end part of the nodes is just join everything and then say set to shade smooth. Without shade smooth, it's gonna be like this. Okay, it's gonna be flat shaded. So everything else goes in there. Now, how to navigate this kind of thing? I recommend you, maybe you can use control options and then right mouse. Oh, control option, right mouse button. So you can actually do this kind of thing. So you can tell this is the mustache, this is the necklace, the nose, of course, very simple sphere, the head, the body, okay, the arm and the legs. Okay, so that's one way to navigate. But I also, if I use like command F and find nose, for example, so there is this part frame, so I'm using frame, so we can easily find, like, for example, the necklace. It's gonna be highlighted and you can go inside the necklace. So let's take a look. I mean, all of them is pretty self-explanatory. It's very simple. I have 5 different materials for these characters. They are all made from different modular parts and just like a Boolean cut. This is the mustache. I started with Bezier and just a simple curve. I can make the mustache a little bit thicker, for example. So I think that's probably alright. This is just an extruded, kind of like a cylinder, extruded curve. Using curve to mesh, I turn on fill caps. I set the materials and transform. I think with the material, maybe it's a good idea to actually just put it over here. I'm using option and drag. So at any time I can just make changes very quickly. So this is Doraemon black material. So this is just the mustache being duplicated using transform and then just joined back together. I can adjust the rotations if I want to. Okay, so that's pretty simple. The next one, okay, the necklace is also very simple. It's just like a simple donut. I think I made it slightly weird there. It's a bit like floating. It's let's take a look. Oh yeah, I think it's just like a torus, and I should adjust the scaling a little bit. So it's more like elliptical. It's torus that has been scaled. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better, but it actually goes around Doraemon's neck. And then there's also this bells, famous bells, Doraemon bells. Just like a booleans with a cylinder and box. Yeah, that's pretty simple. You see a lot of boolean mesh is being used. Okay, mesh boolean. Okay, so I have UV sphere, mesh booleans, and then using difference a couple of times just to get these shapes. It's not perfect, but it's okay for now. The next one is just the UV sphere for the nose. I could use less actually for the nose. I can use 8. Still looking pretty good. Just put it in place. If I make this more procedural, maybe I need to find out a way. So if I scale the head, for example, the nose and the mustache will follow. We can probably use like a tessellate node at some point, so things that attach into a surface of objects. Yeah. Okay, the next one. This one is a weird one, I think. Okay, originally I don't have this part. Oh, I just muted. Okay, just let's get that back. Anyway, there's the blue part and the white part. This is probably the most complex part besides the stomach or the body. Of course, I started with a sphere. Okay, sphere that's been boolean and cut. Because this is like the Doraemon, it has certain proportions, so it might look correct, it might look really wrong. I look at reference a few times. Of course, Doraemon's head is like a balloon. This is funny deformed version of Doraemon, but in general, it's just a simple sphere. Sphere that's being transformed, and then boolean. Okay, another sphere, smaller sphere. I used to cut this part. This is actually very interesting. It seems complicated, but there are basically two parts. If I cut the top, okay, we get that like a pillow. Yeah, just the inside and the outside. The inside, if I, okay, this is the interesting part. If I move this around, you can see we get like a helmet shape. Maybe this is what you want to create, you know, just the helmet. Yeah. If it's like this, it's like a character with a, it's just a different character, but it's very interesting. Okay, I think that's the most interesting part. The rest of them is pretty simple. Okay, actually, the arm, let's talk about the arm first. Oh, by the way, with the frame, yeah, you can name the frame so it's easier to find, and also if you want, you can give it a color. So that's definitely the body. This part is the nose. Let's take a look at the arm. This is basically, you can guess already, it's just a cone, simple cone and sphere. Nothing much. It's just things on top of each other. And this is also, this is a cylinder instead of a cone, I think. Yeah. And then the feet, I'm not 100% happy, but it's just another sphere being cut, Boolean cut. The body is very similar to the head, actually. Yeah, and with the stomach and the pocket. So it's basically another UV sphere. Let me reduce, I can reduce this to 16. Okay, 24. I can maybe scale the whole thing. So this is one example. You see the pocket? The pocket stays in shapes, but the body can change. That's the power of procedurality. So there's definitely interesting part. It's just again another sphere that's being cut by a box or another smaller sphere. The same thing with the pocket. Just another sphere, and I just use another box. Oh, by the way, if you want to draw anything like this, you can use a D and then just left mouse or right mouse button, and this is to erase. You saw this quite often. So with the Doraemon, if you want to draw it from scratch, this guy, there's actually like a poem to make a Doraemon. Draw a circle. Actually, this one, it's a little bit like this. Okay, the eyeballs. You start actually with the eyeballs, and then draw the nose, and then just the mouth. This is how I usually draw Doraemon, and with a pocket and this. I think any Japanese kids can draw Doraemon. So that's basically Doraemon using geometry nodes and Boolean. It's definitely everyone needs to do this at least once. Okay, you don't need to make Doraemon, but it's probably the easiest compared to the rest. You can try making Astro Boy or Totoro. Is actually very similar to Doraemon. The shapes and everything, the expression, everything else. I mean, when you're thinking of designing something like this, think of it like you are making like a toy. It's gonna be static. It's not animated, so don't worry about it being animated yet. You can always retopo and do things like that later. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, try at least making something like this once, like making your own robot, like similar to Doraemon. I didn't make the mouth and the eyeballs yet. That's a little bit tricky, maybe easier to draw on top of it. I didn't make the other characters, but that's, yeah, Doraemon, and that's his sister, and look, the inside of Doraemon. It's a very interesting character. Definitely, it's a dream to have one Doraemon inside your house. So, yeah. Anyhow, hopefully you find this interesting, and thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.